Andre Agassi taking stadium court at the U.S. Open. We'll be back with coverage of the match between Krickstien and Agassi and much more as day one continues on USA.
That outfit?
Now it looks like the racket's changing colors along with the outfits.
Well, Andre Agassi, how would you assess his year so far?
I don't think this year has been anywhere near as good as last year. I think Andre would agree with that also. He's hasn't had too many wins. He has 2 tournament wins this year. And he seems to have worked a little bit more on his strength. He's bulked up a lot more than I remember him being last year.
Krickstien has had some memorable moments here at the U.S. Open, some outstanding 5-set wins, and that great run here 2 years ago. But again, for him, I guess the story this year would be the same thing.
He had a great year last year. This year, he has not played well. Talked to his coach earlier on. He feels that he feels a little down after last year's wins.
First rounds have been a little easier the last couple of years here. I'm sure that he was startled a bit to learn who his first round opponent would be. And we're set to play with Agassi serving. Well, the first point to Krickstien, as you see Agassi's record, just 2 singles titles this year.
The wins coming in Orlando and Washington.
And the final at the French Open, where he lost to Jim Courier.
You're going to see a lot of that big forehand from Aaron Krickstien. If there's a weapon in his arsenal, it's that forehand.
And that's a little wake-up call for Andre Agassi.
Love 40.
Good serve by Andre Agassi. Pulled Aaron Krickstien out wide. He's already outside the doubles alley, and he just comes around, almost around the net post. Screens it down the line.
The only time these two have ever met on a hard court was at Lipton in '88. Krickstien won that in the 5th set when Agassi retired. And on a double fault, Agassi is broken in the first game of this match, but this one could be a long one on day one of the U.S. Open.
But one exception is the artichoke.
Hi, you been to Australia yet?
Well, the beginning of this match is any indication. Andre has seen that Krickstien has come to play.
Aaron definitely warmed up for this match. Last year's first round match for Krickstien was a 5-setter. He needed 5 to beat Andrew Schneider.
Second serve.
And it's 2-love Krickstien in the first set. He has never been beyond the round of 16 in any Grand Slam other than the U.S. Open here 2 years ago. This is clearly the one tournament where he's played his best tennis.
He loves playing in New York. Always seems to have the crowd behind him here. And right now, Krickstien seems like he's really gone off to a very hot start. And Agassi just seems a little tentative right now.
Best advancement in the tournament this year for Krickstien, quarterfinals. Meanwhile, the new, improved and bulked up Andre Agassi stretching those shirts a little bit. I feel safe in asking you this question, Vitas. What effect would weightlifting have on a tennis player?
Well, since I've done very little
from your
weightlifting,
experience,
I would imagine that he has gained a little bit in the strength department, but I'm curious to see what it's done to his mobility, because he's always been very quick on the court, and generally you don't want to bulk up too much because that slows you down around the tennis court.
that was more a classic Agassi point.
He's starting to find the range a little bit now. Both players play a very similar game, both being schooled by Nick Bollettieri. They spent a lot of years down there training, so they both know each other's game very, very well. Both have big forehands, two-handed backhands.
But Agassi would have an edge of power, wouldn't he?
I think he has an edge pretty much in all the categories.
Beautiful shot by Krickstien.
Andre coming in now, if he has a weakness, is his net play, and he just commits himself a little bit too much, leans forward, and it was an easy topspin lob for Aaron.
Oh, the U.S. Open is officially underway. I can smell the hot dogs. The aromas have made it up to our booth.
Don't tempt me.
And Agassi running Krickstien there, wins his first game of the match. Krickstien up a break in the first set. Leading into this tournament would lead you to believe that Krickstien could do it again, but here he is coming out and playing well in his first couple of games against Agassi. Serving here at 40-15.
You're not going to see too many easy points won out there today. Both players relying on their ground strokes to win points. See a lot of rallies.
Krickstien played 4 hardcourt tournaments leading up to the U.S. Open, and he won a total of only 4 matches in those 4 tournaments. Won Krickstien in the first set.
If you look at his record, as you mentioned, last couple of tournaments on hard courts, you wouldn't expect Aaron to be playing as well as he is. but he's been fired up. He's been hitting his forehand about as well as I've ever seen him hit it.
How does it do that? Can a player turn it on like that, just as if it's an on-off switch?
Well, it seems that nowadays, with the schedule as long as it is, a lot of the players seem to be able to pull themselves up and gear up for the Grand Slam events. You know, you may have a lot more peaks and valleys during a year, as before you would plan your schedule a little bit better. That's a classic Agassi forehand. Big Western grip. Great depth by Aaron Krickstien, really keeping the ball back deep.
Can Krickstien stand back there and trade ground strokes and slug it out with Agassi?
Well, we're going to find out. I don't know what kind of condition he's in, but that's about the only way that he's going to beat Andre Agassi.
That's a great recovery by Krickstien.
If they're going to have points like that, we're going to find out if they can last for a very long time. Krickstien coming in, chips it right down the line, but that was really set up by the other shot that he hit down the opposite line.
At that time, Agassi uncorks a big first serve, and it is 3-2. Krickstien up a break in the first set.
Krickstien looks a little bit more comfortable at the net than Andre Agassi. He takes that ball short, good footwork, throws his body at it, and moves in and just hits that ball right out in front. Good backhand volley that time.
Running forehand in the net. It's 15 all.
That's impressive right there. 21-6 record at the U.S. Open. He always seems to get up for this tournament.
Big forehand. When you played Krickstien in '83, had you heard of him? You know who he was?
No clue. But it only took me a few hours to point out that the kid could play. Miss hit backhand by Andre Agassi. Five all
first set and 30 all. Nicely done by Krickstien.
Andre had the right idea coming into the net, but that time he just didn't put enough stick on the backhand volley, and once again, it's the second topspin lob winner that Aaron Krickstien has hit.
Great point, Krickstien. No, that's the first very critical point of the match, and Agassi boomed the first serve in.
And Krickstien wasn't happy about his return. He knew that was an important point. It'd be great to get a set under your belt here with both players playing a similar game. A one-set advantage would be very important. It shows you how hard Aaron Krickstien can hit his forehand. He was about 2-3 yards behind the baseline and just rocketed a forehand cross court. And by the look of his shirt, these guys are earning their money. Ooh.
Krickstien's second break point. And a second serve. Aaron Krickstien with a huge break of serve. And when we come back, he'll be serving for the first set. But right now, let's go down to the USA studios and Diana Nyack at 30 love. And Agassi really upset.
He looked awfully anxious when he hit that backhand return. Just jumped at it.
3 set points for Krickstien. And a second serve ace. And now we can declare the U.S. Open officially underway.
Welcome home.
It always happens on day 1 or 2 in the first round. Some seed or favored player finds himself in a struggle. This is not unexpected for Agassi.
Well, as soon as these names were drawn at the draw this week, you could hear a hush come over the crowd. This would be a good final a couple years ago.
The first set, 45 minutes. Krickstien, 7-5. And now Agassi serving to start the second. Vetus, the first big difference that we think of for Andre Agassi this year, as opposed to past years, he played Wimbledon. Does it have any impact on him either way at all?
I don't think it would make any difference coming into the U.S. Open. I just think generally his whole year has not been as strong as I'm sure he would have liked it to be. I think playing Wimbledon, the more experience you get as a young player, the more it should help you later on, even though it's on grass. Just different situations, you keep logging that into your little computer in your head, and I think it would help coming into U.S. Open.
A big save. Agassi comes right back with a strong service game to start the second set.
Beware, this beauty is a beast. Nastasia Kinski, Malcolm McDowell, Cat People on USA Saturday Nightmares, September 7th at 8.
Chart your course for the Crow's Nest Marina Restaurant, Venice's wonderful.
Thank you, Bruce. Aaron Krickstien serving. Second game, second set. Krickstien stopped one reversal. He started strong, but Agassi appeared to have taken the first set back over, and all of a sudden Krickstien put a stop to that. But unlike Venus, unlike so many first-round matches, this is a match that could be decided by a bad game or even a bad point that can swing an entire set. For Agassi, it was that 11th game.
That's right.
Of the first set.
Because they both play such a similar style, they're not going to really blow each other one away. Andre would really like to get a good start in the second set to reestablish some sort of dominance. And we watch both players. They're really very, very good ground strokers. They change the speeds up. They don't just continue to hit at one pace all the time. They mix them up with some slices, high rolling, topspin forehands, then bang, big forehand shots. That was a little bit of a lazy forehand. Didn't really move his feet.
Well, this would be a nice reversal for Krickstien. It was love 30, now 40-30.
A great get by Aaron Krickstien to get that forehand, wide forehand back. But Agassi closed out the point really well. Both players hitting the ball really crisp.
His fourth ace. That surprise you?
That's a pretty good start for Aaron Krickstien, and not really known as a big server. But in the last couple of years, he has improved the serve and volley game.
Oh, now Agassi back to where he appeared to be early in this game. He has a break point.
Another reason Krickstien's done so well here at the U.S. Open, he's a tough competitor. Over a 3 out of 5 set match, this kid never gives. He could be down 2 sets to love, and he's going to try just as hard.
Another big serve. 5 aces. You still have to call this the early stages of the match for Aaron Krickstien. And Krickstien holds. Agassi again unable to take advantage of an opportunity. But Agassi knew that would be the case. We talked to him yesterday about a tough first round match, and he knew the opponent would be Aaron Krickstien.